There are some EVs that make you feel like you're saving the planet, and then other EVs just have you looking around all of the time for cops. This is the second one. Let's say you're Dodge, and you've had a lot of success over the last couple decades bringing back the American muscle car in proper form. But now the future's going electric. So what do? You can try and take everything that made your Hemi-powered V8 muscle car successful and translate them to electric car form, and that's what this is. Meet the 2025 Dodge Charger Daytona. Can you be a badass muscle car and a great electric car at the same time? We're about to find out. The car that we're in right now is the Dodge Charger Daytona EV Scat Pack with the track package. That is its full Christian name, and it is quite a mouthful. So how did we get here exactly? Why am I driving an electric Dodge muscle car of all things? Because these days Dodge is owned by a company called Stellantis, which is a gigantic European-American conglomerate full of about 16 different brands that all hate each other, and they have to figure out a way to meet all of these emissions regulations that are getting tougher all over the world. And so Stellantis, they're kind of late to the game, but they're finally doing this big electric push. This car is the successor to the old Charger and Challenger. It's all called Charger now. The Challenger name, at least for now, has been retired. It's starting out as a two-door coupe, like you see here. A four-door sedan version is coming soon. I will say this too, is that I love that I'm driving an all-electric coupe right now. I really had to think about this, but I'm not sure I ever have, because the two-door coupe market is really kind of DOA these days, no matter what powertrain you're using. Even last year, I drove very few all-electric sedans. There just aren't that many out there. Like driving this thing, this like coupe, two-door, low to the ground, made me realize just how dominated by SUVs and pickup trucks this market is, especially in the electric vehicle world. Dodge engineers worked really hard, I think over time, to kind of translate everything that people loved about the V8 powered Charger and Challenger into electric form, possibly even excessively so. Well, clearly this thing isn't here to mess around. When you're outside the car, you will get the experience of what's called the Fratzonic Exhaust, which is literally a kind of speaker system underneath the car that creates a simulated rumble of a V8 exhaust and engine sounds within the cabin. They're pretty subtle right now, but to get the full experience of that sound, we gotta move into different drive modes here. Auto's your balanced mode. That's what you're gonna drive in most of the time. It's definitely not slow at all either. That's plenty for almost all your driving. Then we have Sport, which turns off my traction control. Gotta remember that out there. Track mode gets even louder. Ooh, we like the sound of that, don't we, folks? It gives me a lap timer I can use for my next track day. And then drag mode is exactly what it sounds like. It's gonna, do all the gizmos so I can just like blast off in a straight line at my next day at the quarter-mile track. Oh man. Yeah, it could use a little bit more brakes than it has, to be honest. Electric vehicles are all about efficiency and using energy well and cutting down on emissions and saving the planet. But on this one, there's a big button on the steering wheel that says Power Shot on it. And, well, gosh, I don't want to sacrifice efficiency, but we gotta try that. It gives you 30 seconds of like maximum boost. It says Power Shot completed with these cool graphics that light up. And that was the first time I tried that. I didn't know what to expect. Definitely gives it like the full blast of that 670 horsepower on tap. And well, that's a lot of fun. There's a lot of EVs that have like a boost mode function. A lot of gas cars that do that too. And I'm glad they threw that in here. The sound is interesting. Like it really does sound like a Hemi V8, but there's this kind of like whiny sort of electric-ish motor undercurrent to it. Like it kind of sounds like you've got a Hemi, but also it has a flux capacitor in it. It's an interesting sound. Oh yeah, and if you're curious, there's no like volume knob for the exhaust or engine sound. It's on or off, and then different levels of loud based on what driving mode you're in. This car is trying really hard to be a V8 powered gas car, which is a strange approach for an EV. But also, like, on the other hand, I'm not sure that's the worst thing in the world, right? Like, so what if it doesn't drive like a Tesla? Who cares? Maybe that's not what you wanted. I mean, on a long enough timeline, electric cars will just be cars, right? And they're gonna drive differently. They're not all gonna drive the same. That's a good thing. Also, I will say this too, is that it is not a very efficient electric car at all. But the other problem is that I haven't really been trying to drive it very efficiently because it's so much fun. Oh, that's almost 90. So yeah, say what you want about this thing. Be skeptical of the EVs, be skeptical of a Dodge electric muscle car. The thing's fast as all get out, objectively. 0 to 60 happens in 3.3 seconds. That makes it basically the quickest Dodge muscle car ever made, but for like one trim of the old Hellcat. You get up to 670 horsepower, dual motor all-wheel drive, and from a 93 kilowatt hour battery pack. Charger Daytona with a Scat pack is rated at a maximum range of 240 miles. When I picked this up in New York, where it was in the 20s and 30s, it was about 222 miles of range. That's not great, but also that's in line with a lot of high-performance EVs. If you're gonna get that much speed and that much power, like, don't expect great range either. I mean, it's just like how a Lamborghini doesn't get amazing fuel economy. DC fast charging is rated at a maximum of 183 kilowatts, which is a really odd kind of random number. They say it'll go from about 30 to 80% of a charge on a 350 kilowatt fast charger in about half an hour or so. But then we got to talk about the price tag, because that's been kind of a sore spot among a lot of the Mopar faithful with this car too. The more basic Dodge Charger RT starts around $59,000. It's not as powerful as this, but this thing that I'm driving right now with options is about $85,000. Are people gonna pay $85,000 for the privilege of driving an electric Dodge Charger that's cosplaying as a V8 car? That's kind of a tough sell to me. You know, one thought I have had about the electric Charger is just how hard it's trying to be like the Chargers you know and understand from before. It's trying so hard to act like a V8 car. And part of me wishes Dodge had tried something different here. Like maybe they had come out with a clean sheet design, hopefully not a crossover, right? We got enough of those, but just something that was like, look, all the muscle car stuff we did in the past, it's great, but like, let's think about the future. Like, what does 21st century American muscle look like? And done some kind of like really from the ground up novel approach to what their future performance cars could be. Because I don't really think this is it. So that's how it drives. Let's talk about how it looks inside and out. And I'll tell you, objectively, like Dodge got this thing right. I love the way it looks. I always thought that the gas-powered Charger and Challenger were pretty cool-looking cars. They got a little old by the end. They were around for almost 2 decades, so you're used to seeing them everywhere. But this is, I think, the best design that they've ever used in the modern era. And it's unquestionably a muscle car. It's super long, the hood is gigantic, it's got that classic coupe profile, it's unmistakably a Dodge. We have this gigantic Scat Pack B that's from their 1960s muscle cars. I think my favorite thing is this kind of like aero treatment here inside the front hood. It creates this hollow area right there too, and then you've got this horizontal light bar right below it. To me in the back, it definitely looks a lot more 1970s than the old Charger did, which kind of was aping a lot of the 60s muscle cars. You know, it's a little bit more advanced, a little more of that later evolution of the Mopar muscle family. EVs are all about what's next and what's new, and this is one that's like really trying to be retro, just like unapologetically and old school. So like a lot of EVs, you do get a frunk or front trunk, and you know, with the hood being as big as it is, you'd expect it to be gigantic and voluminous and able to, you know, haul all of your stuff in it. But yeah, it's okay in there. It's a little on the deep side. The one in my Kia is like a little, like you could put like a cigar or like a maybe your plug adapter in there, and it's pretty useless. But this is something. It's a little bit extra storage. You know, clearly you can tell that this platform is also built to accommodate gasoline cars. Like it's fairly compromised up front. Like this feels like it's also definitely designed to fit an engine at some point. You know, it's not just this completely battery in the floor and the rest is empty space kind of deal like we see with a lot of modern EVs. You'll also probably notice that unlike the old Challenger, this thing is a hatchback. It's got a pretty decent amount of room back here. I'm not gigantic or anything, but you know, sometimes EVs can be a little limited on their trunk space, but this is not terrible back here. Oh, and I'll let you in on a little secret. To close the hatch, it's this little button right here. And yes, that did take me a few minutes to find. I was wondering if Stellantis built this thing without including a close button, which is plausible. I think the crazy part is it has this kind of like whine and then it ignites, you know, it reminds me of like almost like the DeLorean from Back to the Future for some reason, just like then boom, like that. Come on down here. That's it right there. You can hear it and feel it coming out of it, and it says right there, Fratzonic, the type of exhaust that it has. And I put my hand against it. It's almost like putting your hand on a subwoofer or something. It was critical for Dodge to nail the most important aspect of Charger and Challenger ownership, and that's terrorizing your neighbors and making everyone in your town hate you. However, if you don't want to go that route, you can turn all of this off. There's a button on the infotainment system called Stealth that'll switch off the sounds entirely. Just real quick, one thing I do applaud Dodge for, it's like we have an electric door opener button right there, but also they've included this like redundant door handle in case your battery dies, and I kind of love that. That's a safety feature that's actually missing on a lot of electric cars, and so good on them for thinking about that. Let's talk about the interior of this car, which I'm going to admit is kind of a mixed bag. This is just kind of very plasticky right here, you know, very hard feeling, that kind of just like industrial gray plastic that's like on every car, but then you've also got some Alcantara right there. We have ambient lighting we can adjust. It's called attitude adjustment, which hilarious. It's a mix of cheap and a little more upscale. It doesn't really feel like an $85,000 car inside to me, like maybe 50 something if we're being generous. I like the steering wheel. It's kind of Squircle-ish. Lots of buttons. God bless Dodge for doing that, right? Like it's not just everything routes through the screen like too many EVs are doing now. We've got some physical controls right here, drive modes. Let's check out the main center screen here. I think they did a good job because this thing, you cycle through all the different drive modes and you get all of these sort of crazy graphics and stuff. Here's track mode. Oh yeah, look at it slide in like that, and drag mode. That's real cool. I don't super love the infotainment system here. It's a little bit on the laggy side. Like sometimes I try and do stuff. It's gotten better since I picked it up, but when I first drove the car, some of these features took a really long time to dial in. In a lot of ways, then, the Charger Daytona represents the weird moment that we're in with cars in 2025. We all know everything is going electrified. There's still demand for gas cars for now, so where do you go with it? I hope it's the first of many great muscle cars and performance cars from Dodge to come that don't run on gasoline, but I think they're gonna have to do more than this to convince the faithful that that is the future. A lot of hardcore muscle car fans are really skeptical of electric power, and then a lot of electric car fans don't really get why they'd want something that tries so hard to act like a V8 powered car when it doesn't really do a lot of the EV things all that great. Dodge is already worried that sales of the electric Charger aren't taking off, so it's bringing back the Hemi. That's going to make a lot of Mopar fans happy, but let's be real, it's not the future. Then again, the task of delivering the future with a car that's always been kind of a throwback is a tough proposition. This thing has a lot of potential. I would hate to see it just be a one-and-done experiment that people never really got into. This could be a platform for better, cheaper, faster, more powerful things down the line that still represent great American performance. Let's hope it goes that way and that bringing back the Hemi doesn't just make Dodge another dinosaur that's due to be extinct soon enough.